All right, ladies, welcome to the Dream Dynasty team call. I'm super excited tonight because you guys probably saw the email I got that our team is in the running as an elite team for Canada. I'm super excited about this. It was a goal that I set for the team kind of the beginning of this year. And I wasn't exactly sure where we stood in the running for it because you just don't know, right? And so when I got that email this morning, I almost shit my pants, pardon my language, but legit, I almost did. I posted in the group right away because I was so excited. Anyways, I'm meeting with corporate tomorrow, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen with all this, but I'm so excited because I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to outline some information to bring back to everybody. So that if it's your goal for your business and you want to run with this and you want to be part of an elite team, then we're going to run with this and go with it. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I have the call. So I'm excited about that. I'll bring back some information for that. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Tonight's call is about building relationships and inviting. So I had a conversation with Rhonda a little bit ago. She was using the cold invite scripts and that sort of stuff. And so we were just chatting about that for a little bit. And so I thought, you know what, I better do a team call about this because I want to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page. I'm just going to close this window so it's not loud. There we go. So that everybody's kind of on the same page business-wise for inviting and that sort of stuff and how I've done it from the beginning because I think it's a very important part of the business and it's also to do with your comfort level and that sort of stuff too, right? So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with my little PowerPoint here. It's nothing fancy today. I just did it quick. Who can I see? I can see Alex. Alex, if you can see the screen, can you just nod your head? Awesome. Perfect. Okay. So let's go ahead and skip over here to announcements. Okay. So this Thursday, I'm running a 2-day sneak peek into coaching. And it's just a private group. It's not live. It's just a private group that I'm adding people into. And it's open for everyone else to add people into it as well. And so what I did was anybody that was in my challenge group that just finished this, excuse me, this past week, I messaged a few of them that I thought would make really great coaches, and I just asked them if they'd be interested in more information on it. I think I messaged them and congratulated them on completing the challenge, let them know that I loved their energy and that they did amazing. And one person, I used the line, I was like, I loved your energy, you did such an amazing job, ... why are you not a coach? And it opened up the conversation for what her objections were. And she was like, oh, I don't think I can post anything fitnessy on my page. And I was like, well, actually, you actually only have to share a little bit about your journey each day. So it doesn't have to be all fitnessy. And so she was kind of like, okay, well, yeah, I'll come check it out. The second girl I messaged and I talked to her about her results. And I said, again, I just said I loved your energy. You did such an amazing job. Listen, I'm hosting a sneak peek into coaching next Wednesday. Would you like to be added? And she came back and said, sure. So it can be as simple as that. I feel like if we overcomplicate it and we feel like we need to, you know how sometimes the to-do list or the power hour, you know, it can be like invite 2 people a day to coaching. I don't do that because I don't want to just run out there and invite a ton of people to coaching and not have any sort of connection with them or build any sort of relationship with them. So I wait and I usually invite people from my challenge group to the coaching opportunity is the first place. Here I am jumping ahead. Just because I want to give you ideas straight out of the go. I invite people straight at a challenge group. The second thing I'm going to do is I have a post ready to go tonight. I'm going to post it as soon as the team calls over. I've already created the sneak peek group. So I'm going to post the post tonight, and I'm going to include the link to the event, like the private sneak peek, so that people can just click to request to join. They don't actually have to have a conversation with me. They might be interested, and and just want to request to join it. And then my plan is tomorrow to make a quick video about my why I started coaching, and then draw some interest that way. And anybody that likes those 2 posts, I will be messaging them as well and just thanking them for liking my posts and asking them if it's something they're interested in. So that gives you a quick idea. But the group's open. I'll post it in the team page after the call, and basically you can take that and use it for your post as well, and just add everybody into it as you like, okay? So yeah, make a post tonight, include the event link, and invite anyone that likes the post. Up next is upcoming free groups. So one of the key things to bringing new people into your network constantly each month is running free groups. Every single month, I run a free group. I advertise it, inviting everybody to it, and I create an event about it. But basically, at this point, I'm thinking kind of outside of the box. So I've done the Eat Clean stuff. I've done the Crock-Pot Challenge. I'm actually kind of thinking of something different, like a decluttering challenge, or you know, it might be like an Eat Clean challenge with a squat challenge or a push-up challenge. I've actually had requests for a push-up challenge. But what I want to know from everybody is if we want to run this together, if anybody wants to run this together, and we kind of invite to one event as a big group, or if everybody is still kind of interested in running their own events for it and their own free groups. So I'm going to do a poll in the team group, and everybody kind of just let me know what they want to do. I want to best support you guys. I'm doing these groups, so if you want to invite into them, you're more than welcome to. It's just your responsibility to kind of keep in touch with them and coach them because you're their coach, right? So yeah, that's basically it for announcements. This Thursday, again, I'll be doing recognition for Success Club. We have I think we have like 7 people on the board this month. It's been an amazing month. And yeah, super excited to talk about that on Thursday. All right, so with building relationships, I like to talk about it as planting seeds, the power of planting seeds. So when you start to think about building relationships and inviting as planting seeds, it kind of takes the awkwardness, or how else would I describe it? The uncomfortableness out of everything. So who do we plant seeds with? Basically, when you're finding and adding new friends, those are people you're starting to plant seeds with. And where do you find those people? You go into your friends list, and you go under people you may know, and if you have mutual friends with them, add away. This is just a way to start to expand your network. Some people are going to accept your friend request, some people aren't. It's just kind of the ebb and flow of the business. But anybody that's showing public interest, those are the people that you want to go in and you want to comment on their statuses. So you could literally just have a list of people today that that they've kind of liked your posts or commented on your posts. They might not be challengers yet, but you just want to go ahead and start to kind of plant seeds with them and interact a little bit and comment on their posts, because when you start posting yourself about stuff, they're going to start to do the same. And that's how it kind of starts to work. That's how you start to expand your network. So when you kind of get that relationship going a little bit, you can send them a message, and it's completely non-Beachbody related. You literally just send them a message, and I call it the hey girl message. So hey girl, how's it going? And just look at their Facebook profile and find something that you can talk to them about. They might have got a new car. You could ask them where they got it, whether they like it. Is it a 5-seater? Is it, is it a new van? Does it have DVDs? They might be into yoga. They might have just posted a picture of their food they ate. You might ask them for the recipe, but there's so many different conversations that you can have. You just have to try and find that thing that you can talk to them about. So I like the phrase be interested and not interesting. So you want to make it about them. Any sort of conversation. I've actually used this now when I'm out having conversations with other people, because guys, I was a shy introvert. I am still a bit of an outgoing introvert now, but 100% introvert before coaching. So talking to people was hard for me. It was so hard. Posting on social media was hard in the beginning. But once I started to get the whole be interested and not interesting down pat, when I'm out, I just try to remember, I'm like, Michelle, ask questions, make it about them. And that's sort of how I kind of built up my comfort level with talking to people and starting to, you know, kind of get into that uncomfortable, I can't talk. You guys get what I mean, uncomfortableness. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So where do you plant seeds? Okay, so you've got your challenge groups, right? Let's start with the free group. That is where your, I want to say, ladies, if you're running a free group, that is your #1 priority that week that you're doing it, because the people in there are who you want to build relationships with. So message them, ask them how they're doing in the free group. If they're loving it, send them a message and just say, oh my gosh, I'm loving your energy in the group. So happy to have you in there. And anybody would be happy to get that message, right? But when you're running a free group, you know, you ladies know that Jessica Pasola is somebody that has kind of, she hasn't chosen to mentor me from afar, but I've kind of stalked her pretty close. Well, she's in the Jessie Regan's social media training. And so in Module 5, Christina, she actually does a training module on her free groups. And so basically, yeah, Christina, go in there. Even if you're not there yet, just jump ahead and watch that one, because it is dynamite. But that free group, if you put your heart and soul in your free group, you are going to have people join you in your next challenge group because you've built that relationship with them. So take the time during your free group and build that relationship. Second place is your challenge groups. Again, it's your priority. As soon as you sit down at your computer and you've got that power hour, your free group comes first. If you're running your challenge group comes second. You want to make sure you're responding to messages. You want to make sure you're touching in with your challengers on a weekly basis. You only have to send maybe a message once a week. So just checking in with them, letting them know you love their energy and their presence and how are they doing, do they have any questions, but building that relationship so that you can get to that point that you can say like, hey, you've done amazing this challenge. I want to invite you to join me in on a sneak peek, right? And again, remember, sometimes it takes people a while to watch you to come back and say yes to coaching. So that's that kind of process for planting seeds, right? You're planting seeds all along those groups. Private messaging, very, very critical way of kind of planting seeds as well. But being authentic, and what does being authentic look like? So I've done a few calls recently, and I did a big one for Danielle's team 2 weeks ago. All about just being authentic and figuring out what you're hiding and talking all about, it sounds selfish, it does, but it's all about you and your journey. But the thing I want to share is you want to kind of round that off with how you're overcoming it. So, you know, sharing that with your followers and interacting with them. So posting engaging questions so that you can kind of interact with them. Like, I think I posted one day, like, what do you prefer, Tim Hortons or Starbucks? We're having a debate right now. And that alone, I mean, I had so many interactions with that. And coming up on Summit, I was thinking today about posts that I could start to do about Summit to kind of start to build the momentum of that since we're only 65 days away. You know, like, so there's dresses. There, you know, you can pull a couple dresses off of the website, put them side by side and just say like, hey, I have a couple parties to attend in Nashville. Help me pick a dress. Or jewelry, or it could be anything that you can kind of start to build some momentum about Nashville. You could ask people if they've ever drove to Nashville, what that would be like. Christina and I can tell you that one. We might do it again this week. We'll see. So yeah, but the biggest factor with all of this is just being consistent, showing up every single day, and remembering the 80-20 rule when you're planting seeds. So you just want 20% to be about fitness and 80% about your life, because your life and your journey is what's going to draw people into you. Okay, why do we plant seeds? So we want to plant seeds because we want people to have the opportunity to be educated on what we do, right? We want to be able to build relationships that result in positive change. So you can sell a challenge pack And that's great because you've got Success Club points and you've got a little bit of commission. But ultimately, we want that person, we want them to experience a change. We want them to have some results, or at least feel that change that can happen on the inside. It doesn't have to necessarily happen on the outside right away, but building that person's confidence levels up. Expanding our market, and people are always watching. So when you're planting seeds, kind of that jab, jab, right hook, people are always watching, and you never know when someone's going to message you, and you're going to be the one that inspires them. So, you know, for example, tonight, actually tomorrow morning, I'm going to throw it a before and after because I just wrapped up 22-minute hardcore. Did I complete the program 100%? I did every workout. I followed the food probably about 75 to 80% of the time. Is that perfect? No, it's not. Is my before and after like stunning? I don't have a six-pack, but it's still something, and that people can relate with, right? And it can inspire somebody to start their journey. So it's just all about sharing your story and planting those seeds so that you know, you're kind of building momentum in your business. How do we plant seeds? Okay, so a few things that you can talk about that will help you plant seeds. So again, your hobbies, your struggles, your joy, you want to celebrate everything with your following, right? So for example, this weekend I talked about how I was off track, and it happens. That's the part of life, right? And then I talked about going for ice cream with Jax last night because to me, making memories with him is far more important than ever having a six-pack, right? Doesn't mean that I'm going to give up on my journey, but it's important to share those little pieces because there's people that can relate to that, right? So be you times 2. And literally what I did was I just sat down with a piece of paper and I started to write out the things that I could start to talk about on my Facebook. And, you know, like I didn't want everything to focus around Jax, or I don't want everything to focus around mom life because I'm a person too, right? What are my interests and how can I relate to people that way? So the other thing that you can do is you can go over to Pinterest and you can search any sort of quote, or this is one of my favorite things to do, is to go over to Pinterest and search a quote or anything and recreate it. Just take a picture of you and put that quote on the picture, or put that quote with the picture, because it's far better to create your, like, make that post your face versus just sharing a Pinterest post. People will relate to you far more than they will just a generic quote that you've just shared. So if you love a quote, just snap a picture of yourself and post it, and just post that quote with it. The other thing you can do is you can go on to Facebook, and you hear all the time when they say, you know, join groups and connect with people. My suggestion is to stay away from groups that are fitnessy and that sort of stuff, only because they're already so saturated with coaches and that sort of stuff. But find groups that interest you. Like, I mean, I had someone was talking to me today about how they went through divorce, and so they sought out divorce groups because they could offer support to them, and then in return they could offer support to them as well. And you know, that just works. So, you know, Alex's wedding planning, so some wedding planning groups, or any of that sort of stuff that you can kind of search out. I think I went on today and I searched out a few adoptive mom groups, but I found one that was actually a first-time mom adoptive group, because I've tried searching it before, and with the adoption groups, you get a lot of people who have adopted overseas, and they experienced some traumatic events and all that sort of stuff. So it was kind of negative groups, which I didn't want. Another one was positive parenting, was another group, because I wanted to embrace positive parenting. And so those are all, just search out any of that sort of stuff. You might be into golf or camping or kayaking, any of that sort of stuff. So search out those groups and just check it out. Go through and see if there's some things you can start commenting on and interacting with and posting about. Those are just some suggestions for some areas to start planting seeds. All right, so be selfish. My new favorite person to follow is the Legacy Leadership, Josh Coates. He is amazing. I can't believe the content that he's putting out there. If you head over to his YouTube channel, Legacy Leadership, people are actually hiring him to speak on team calls, and so he's got some team calls posted on there, and it is crazy insane the amount of content that he's sharing and the little tidbits that he's giving away. But with being selfish, he was talking about today 3-point phrase, I guess I'll call it. So be, do, and have. And he was saying a lot of the time what happens is we start with have versus be. So we want to have success. We want to have you know, all that money can buy. We want to have the new car. We want to have the new house. But when in fact we have to back it up a little bit, and the having comes last. And so if you decide to be, and you make the decision to be, so for example, be an all-in coach, and you start to do, then the habit is naturally going to come. And I just love that. So be selfish, which is the opposite of what we're ever told in life, right? But be selfish in creating your story. You want to become an expert in your story. You want to just literally throw in your computer, throw in your video camera, if you want, on your phone, and record yourself telling your story, because there's so many different ways. I was studying Lindsay Matway a little bit because she's somebody that tells her story over and over again. And at Summit last year, she even said that she's tired of telling her story. But when you have new people coming on board all the time, there's new people that always need to hear your story. And somebody is going to be drawn to your story. There's people that need to hear your story. My story is different from Christina's stories, different from Alex, and different from Melissa's, but we're all unique in our own way, and somebody out there will relate to your story. And because of you and sharing your story, you will inspire somebody, and you could forever change somebody's life. So make that video, and literally what you're going to take away from that is just different ways to post about it, different ways to share your story periodically, and kind of dribble it in a little bit. So make sure your newsfeed is all about you and not just about sharing posts and sharing videos from other people. You want to make sure that it's just you. Pinterest, I'm telling you, it's a little thing. Let me just see here. So down to the next slide. So the last part is invite. And so what I was mentioning before was about the cold invite. And so Ronit asked me why I had posted that in the group when I personally don't send cold invites. And the reason that I shared it in our team page is because it was posted on the Beachbody Champions page, and there are a lot of people that do cold invites. And a cold invite is basically sending a message to somebody you've never talked to about, asking if they're interested in joining this boot camp, and it starts with a date, and if they'd like more information. And so I personally don't do that. I like to follow the model. Christina and I sat with Alicia Steele at the Diamond Dinner, and she phrased it perfectly by saying, attract, connect, and then invite. So basically what you want to do is you want to attract people to you. And how you do that is by sharing your story, showing that you're proof that the product works, so results and that sort of stuff, interacting and engaging with your followers. So remember, everybody starts from zero. Everybody starts somewhere. And you might not have crazy engagement on your page, but it takes time to slowly build that up. And if you give up, you'll never know if you would have had success, right? So it's tough in the beginning. I was there. I can go back to my posts and show you when nobody likes a post that you make. But consistency is key, because when they start to become interested in you and seeing what you're doing and attracted to you, that's when you can connect with them. So when they comment on your posts and that sort of stuff, make sure that you're going back and you're making a comment back on whatever, responding to their comment. Or send them a private message and just say, hey girl, thank you so much for commenting on my post, and you can answer their question in that private message so that it opens up that private message conversation. But that's that building relationship piece, right? So for example, then anybody that likes your post, you've also attracted them to you. So those are more people that you've attracted in. So these are all people that you can now write on your list of people who you've expanded your market to, and you now know that you can go through all those people on your list. You can start interacting on their Facebook, and you can start sending them messages like non-Beachbody related, but just building that relationship. So attract, connect, and then invite. And the invite piece can come from, if you're doing all these things, they might like your post that you post about your upcoming challenge group, or you might create an event about your free group and you might invite them to it, or you might do a post about your free group and they might like it, and that opens up that avenue to then send that message and say, thank you so much for liking my post. Are you interested in jumping in on this free group, right? So yeah, open invite is just when you make a generic post, a picture of yourself or before and after, and you just talk about your story. And at the end of it, that's when you say, hey, I'm running a new challenge group starting May 24th. Comment below or private message me if you're interested for more details. That's what an open invite's about. People who like your posts, yes, those are people you can definitely start messaging or invite or do an event invite to as well. Events, another great tool. I was going to do an event for the sneak peek, but with the May long weekend, my bad, totally my bad. I didn't plan that out well. So I'm just inviting you to it. So anybody who has previously messaged you about the challenge group, make sure you throw those people on a follow-up list, because 2 months from now, you can go back and check in on them and just send them a, hey girl, how's it going message, see if they respond, and then you can go ahead and open up that conversation. It's just opening up the windows first and then going into the, listen, I'm having a free group coming up next month. Do you want me to jump in on it? And then, yes, like I said, attract, connect, invite. So that kind of wraps up. I believe that was the last slide. Let me just double check here. Yes, that was the last slide. So that kind of wraps up our team call about building relationships and inviting. They're kind of two things that can be a little confusing in the beginning, but that's basically how I've done it from the beginning, and that's how I continue to do it as well. But I want to leave you guys with one thing tonight, and something that Josh Coates shared in one of the calls I was listening to today. And so he said that when you believe on the inside, firmly on the inside, before it ever shows up on the outside, that is when success will happen. Not only success with working out and your journey, but with your business as well. It all begins with the belief on the inside. So no matter what's going on in your life, you have to believe in yourself, and you should believe in yourself, because you're human. There's no reason why anybody should have success any different than you. You deserve it just as much as the next person. So does anybody have questions tonight? No? Someday somebody's going to have questions for me. All right, well, thank you, ladies, so much for hopping on. I truly appreciate it. And if you do have any questions, send me a message, and I'll be happy to get back to you. But I'll let you go and free up the rest of your night. Have a great night, ladies.